Hey, what's up guys? So today I have a big problem. My fish room keeps flooding, aka my bedroom keeps flooding as well. This is really bad. This is part of the problems with having so many fish tanks in your room. There's just water everywhere. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. If you guys don't know, all the tanks in my room, aka my fish room and bedroom, are on a water change system. So it automatically changes water. I mostly just have to siphon or feed the fish to really take care of the tanks. And what happens is when the water is draining or the water changer system is going on, the water from, let's say, the bigger tanks drains over and the flow is too high for the drain pipe to handle. So then it ends up overflowing into other tanks, like filling this all the way up and then coming and pouring into this tank or the 10 gallons. So I need some supplies. I don't have a 2-inch pipe. I need a drill bit as well. And then we're gonna get to work on this because the water change system isn't working and I don't wanna do manual water changes if I don't have to. So we're gonna try to fix it. Let's get to Home Depot or Lowe's. All right, I got the supplies back from the store. Got T's, elbows, a 10-foot 2-inch pipe, really long glue, and the drill bit to make the hole in the wall and the brick on the outside, and then the drill as well. So let's get to it. So the drain line really goes from the back of these tanks all the way over here, behind the 40 and the 125 to here. And this is the drain, the bottom one. This is the water coming into my room. It has like a timer for the 4 different tanks and racks, and then it'll split up into more. But the drain line then goes out through the window. So this is the water coming in, and then like below it, this one down here is the drain line, and that goes all the way over there, has holes in it to water the plants, and then goes out into the pond. That's just a sprinkler tube, and then this tube is the water coming in. So the issue, like I said, is just like the pipe isn't big enough. Solution is to either drill another hole here and add another drain and make it a 2-inch pipe, or replace this one and then drill that out and take that out and put the 2-inch pipe. I just found some big news about my water change system. So you know how I was gonna go start installing like 2-inch pipe and start drilling into the wall, and I bought all the supplies. I don't need to do that anymore. The water change system is actually working. All I did was make one cut into the pipe, which I'm about to show you, and then it just started working. So now I can return everything, although it would be good for preventative stuff. I don't have the time, and I also just don't need to spend the money at the moment if it's working. So let me show you guys real quick. To start like the drain, I was gonna go ahead and cut here and pull the drain pipe out that I showed you guys. So I got the PVC cutters, and all I did was cut the one pipe. So you can see like right there that there's just a cut now. I was just gonna pull this out and then eventually pull that out, but this was like the line leading to the pond. Don't mind the duckweed, I'm feeding it to the goldfish, but yeah, so now that's all cut off, and then this was just gonna be pulled out and replaced with a 2-inch pipe that I no longer need to install anymore. So I just had the idea of like cutting it and then testing the water to see if it would drain, because when I cut it, some water dripped out and it looked like water was sitting there. If water's just sitting there, that might be the reason it's being backed up and then flowing through all the pipes. So now all the water is like flowing perfectly fine. I tested out the water change on all the tanks and it just works fine. Eventually it would be good to have like the 2-inch pipe so that water will never flood my room. The headache that was gonna be like to install a new 2-inch pipe would be also really a pain, because like the pipe, as I showed you guys, is behind the tanks, and I would have to take that all out. I had to put the new 2-inch in and then find a way to get all the overflows to pump into it, especially these 10 gallons. These are all like hard plumbed into the little pipe back there, and then that would have to flow into it over there, and I don't know if there'd be enough space and whatnot. I mean, that's good news. One issue I did find though was this 40 gallon right here got too much duckweed that the drain wasn't working. So I cleaned up the duckweed. There's the duckweed. And then the duckweed I was talking about was all in that tank, clogging the drain. And so now I just have to be very mindful that it doesn't do that in the future, so that all the tanks can drain. I tested all of them and I increased the water flow. It works. I'm really happy the water changes are working, because the tanks haven't been getting their water changes as often, and I just really, for fish health and growth, just want to make sure that those are working and I don't have to worry about it anymore. And I was going to do it manually if I had to, but better to do it automatically. So I want to show you guys the water change system I have installed. So let me show you where it starts. All right, so the water change system starts out here in this faucet, and all I have is PVC going into these filters. This is sediment and carbon block to remove the chlorine. Pretty sure this is the sediment one. This is chlorine, or the carbon block, so it removes any chlorine in the water. And then this pipe goes all the way to over here past the pond, and then to my room and into the wall and right up in there. And then I have the timer and everything in there. So all right, now that we're back inside, and so the pipe comes out from where I just showed you and then out into this wall, and it goes into this like hose splitter. And this is normally used for gardens, and you like attach like little water drip emitters and whatnot. But I just attached like 4 Python hoses to it, and then I just set timers and the days. So this tank, like the first tank zone is the 125 gallon, then the second one goes to the 65, and then the third goes to actually all the tanks on the bottom, and it goes to this little emitter here, and then goes into 1/4-inch pipe, and then those tanks have like little drip emitters, and then so the 40s, and then the 4th tank is the 90 gallon. So pretty simple. And then all the tanks, whew, all the tanks have some kind of drain form or a hole drained. The only tank I actually drilled is the 90 gallon tank, but then the 125 and 65 all have the overflows, and then all the ones on the bottom have custom PVC overflows that I made. So not the biggest pipe. I recommend 2 inches or more, just to be on the safe side so you don't have water flowing. Eventually, if I redo the tanks, I'll definitely get a bigger drain. It works, and it's been working for a while. I do have issues of water flooding my room and coming into my room with like just gallons of water on the floor or tanks overflowing. So be really careful if you're gonna set it up, and test it many times. And also, you have to stay on top of it. You never know what like is gonna clog it. I would not have this many tanks if I couldn't do an auto water change system, because it would just be way too much work of, water changing each tank manually. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. This was just like an odd video. I really thought I was gonna have to do all this, but it's kind of glad I didn't. And I just wanted to show you guys the water change system if you wanted to do this for your tanks.